Variables. A program usually works on data, and you need some way to store this data in your program to process it. And so, it's the variables that are used to store the data. Think like this. In real world, we use a diary to store daily notes. We use a paper to store some information. And similar to a paper, a variable stores information in a computer. A variable uses computer's memory to remember things. As the name suggests, a variable is a variable in nature, meaning they can be reassigned with values. For example, let's say a restaurant has a rating of 3. In this case, let's say our restaurant is La Cafe and its rating is 3. So we use my restaurant rating as a variable where my restaurant rating is a label given to the variable and it's initialized to a value of 3. So if we print my restaurant rating, we should get 3 as our output. Now let's say the restaurant started serving delicious food and people started liking it. And that changes the rating of the restaurant to 4. So we can see the variable my restaurant rating got assigned to a new rating of 4. And hence, if we print its value, that is my restaurant rating's value, now it should print 4. Now let's do some hands-on coding to see and understand variables much more better. Now to understand variables, let's write variable. We can use let to create a variable. Let's say our variable name is score. Let's say this score variable stores the number that a student gets out of 100. And so what we are seeing is that score is a label given to our variable, and the data that is being stored in our variable is 90, which is a number, and let helps us to define this variable. Now if we print our variable, whatever data is stored in within this variable, it will get printed. So if we print it, and let's before we print, let's comment the previous lines of code that we had written. And now let's see what console.log score actually prints us. And so as we can see, we see the data that is stored in the score variable being printed in our output window. Now what we saw is that a variable in this scenario, in this particular example, is storing a number. Now let's see, can we store a character? So let's say we store a character as A, just a single character. And now let's try to print it. And what we see is a single character, that is A, is being printed out. Now let's see if our variable can store multiple characters. Or let's say let name equal to Sam. Now let's print the name. And so in this example, we can see that the name Sam is being printed out. So what we are seeing is that all these variables can store a character, multiple characters, string, or um, even it can store a float, which is like, let's say if you want to put 90.5, it can also store that as well. Now here we are using let to um, define a variable. We can also use var. So var food equal to banana console.log food, and you can see that the data stored within food variable has also got printed. So essentially, if we have to kind of summarize what is a variable is a, a data type, or a way for the program to store some data so that it can process it later.